The pinhole camera. A pinhole camera is an instrument that we can use to observe light traveling in straight lines. What does pinhole camera consist of? 1. Small closed box. 2. Pinhole in the front. 3. A screen in the back to locate the image on the screen. Real image. What is real image? The picture formed in the screen is called the real image. Since it's formed by rays traveling from the object, the image is inverted. That's turned upside down and left to right. How does pinhole camera work? As we talked before, the image is inverted. That is turned upside down and left to right.
The history of pinhole camera. The camera obscura or pinhole image is a natural optical phenomenon. Early non-description are found in the Chinese Mozi writings, circa 500 BCE, and the Aristotelian problems, circa 300 BCE to 600 CE. Ibn al-Haytham 965 to 1039, an Arab physicist also known as Al-Hazan, was the first to thoroughly study and describe the camera obscura effect. Over the centuries, others started to experiment with it, mainly in dark rooms with a small opening in shutters, mostly to study the nature of light and to safely which is solar eclipses. A diagram depicting Ibn al-Haytham's observation of light behavior through a pinhole.
Usage. The image of a pinhole camera may be projected into a translucent screen for a real-time viewing, used for safe observation of solar eclipses, or to trace the image on a paper, but is more often used without a translucent screen for pinhole photography, with photographic film or photographic paper placed on the surface opposite to the pinhole aperture. A common use of pinhole photography is to capture the movement of the sun over a long period of time. This type of photography is called solography. Pinhole photography is used for artistic reasons, but also for educational purposes to let people learn about and experience with the basics of photography.
Hi, welcome to my presentation. My name is Jemma Sarda from the bilingual class in Iraq. So today we're going to be talking about a pinhole camera. So before we need to know what is a pinhole camera. They're one of the simplest and oldest types of cameras. As you guessed it, it's a camera and it's really simple. They made it in the old days. In a pinhole camera, light passes through a light-proof container through a tiny hole. The tiny hole is located at the front of the box, as you can see here. The light streams through the box. So here, you look through, the light streams through it into this paper, the translucent paper, which is at the back of the box. As you can see, the paper here is at the back of this box, because you look through this, well, you see the image here, which the image got on using this hole right here, to which a piece of film has been affixed, as you just saw. Now, what does it consist of? A small closed box, a tiny hole, or do you want to call it a pinhole, as you can see here, and screen out the back to locate the image on the screen, which is this. Now, what is a real image? A real image is the picture formed on the screen, and it's called a real image since it is formed by rays traveling from the object. So the real image is basically the image that is formed on the paper that we just saw, and it's inverted because of the way that the rays travel. They travel in an X shape when they go through the box. So how does the pinhole camera work? Basically, the light. So how do we see? We see using light when the light reflects off an object. So same here. The light goes through the hole from like the light reflects on the object and goes through the hole to the paper, where we can see through this hole right here on the paper. It will be inverted because, as I said from the beginning, the light travels in an X shape. It's really simple and really fun to make. I painted mine. It didn't turn out that great, but I love it. Thank you for listening.
My name is Jonah Mahmoud. I'm from second bilingual class for girls. My project is talk about Pinhole Camera. Pinhole Camera. What is the Pinhole Camera? Pinhole Camera, it is a simple camera without a small single pinhole lens. What does Pinhole Camera consist of? Pinhole Camera consists of small closed box, a pinhole in the box, and a screen at the back to locate the image on the screen, and the last one is the subject. How does pinhole camera work? Pinhole camera work when the light passes through this hole. An inverted image is reflected off the opposite side of the wall. The human eye operates in a bright light in the same way as do small hole cameras. Up to a certain point, the smaller the hole, the more defined the image, but the more blurry. Generally, the whole size should be 1 per 100 or less of the distance between it and the reflected image. Prepared by Jonah Mahmoud and supervised by Ms. Zahra.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear audience, thanks for attending my subject entitled Pinhole Camera. First of all, pinhole camera is an device that we can use to observe light traveling in straight lines. Pinhole camera consists of a small closed box, pinhole in the front, a screen at the back. What is real image? The picture formed on the screen is called the real image, since it is formed by rays traveling from the object. The image is inverted, that is, it's turned upside down and left to right. How the pinhole camera work? Have we ever seen light rays of sun coming through holes of a damaged roof? What is surprising is that these rays produce images of the sun when they fall on the ground, because these irregular shaped holes in the roof act as a pinhole camera. So by definition, a pinhole camera is a simple optical device that forms an image image without using a lens or a mirror, but with a tiny aperture. Let's first construct a pinhole camera and then try to understand the principles of its work. First, we join two holes cylinders of different diameters in such a way that one box can just slide without the other, as we can see in this figure. We make a small hole in the larger cylinder, which is the blue one, and two holes in the small cylinder, the green cylinder. The inner hole should be rectangular, and the outer inner hole should be and the outer hole to be circular. Then we fix a translucent paper uh, on the rectangular hole to act as a screen. These two cylinders must be enclosed to prevent light from entering the larger cylinder. That will mess up our image. Now we use this pinhole camera and try looking at a tree. A clear image of this tree can be obtained on the screen if we slide the smaller slender backed and forth. Notice exactly what will happen. Let's look at this diagram. The tree is MN. M is the top most point. In the bottom most point, the light rays coming from the bottom of the tree. That is N. Pass through the small hole and flag the screen at the top of the axis, whereas the light rays coming from the top of the tree, that is M, strike at the bottom of the axis. As a result, we can see an inverted and much smaller um, real image of the tree on the tracing paper, which acts as a screen. The size and con- contra- con- contrast of this image can be adjusted by sliding the smaller slender. The image depends on the size of the pinhole. The smaller the pinhole, the sharper the image, and vice versa. And thanks for your good listening.